Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PatFacts. Patrick here. Pat on your back, personal fitness. Hope everyone's having a great week and is handling whatever outside is doing for you right now. A little bit up in the air here. In Barrie, not much over the weekend. Further north of us, hit really hard. And then today we're kind of getting some squalls and it's getting a little rough out there. So that time of year where you can't really tell what's going to go on. So again, we talked about a few weeks ago with some some of our kind of prep work we've done so far. Plan ahead, look at the forecast, have those things with you, have those layers, be ready for it as well, because you never know what might happen within a few minutes. Really, we used to say at least if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it'll change, and that's sort of what it's kind of come back to, it seems. So hopefully you're doing well and hunkered down and comfortable and are ready to go. We missed last week, sorry about that. Had some camera issues that I wasn't able to get sorted out, so we weren't able to go live. But this week we're back, we're live. Again, we're back in the original location for our second episode. Again, we're playing around with the format a little bit, some different shots, trying to evolve it a little bit and just spice things up a little bit, so it's not always the same sort of visual with that. So getting back to our kind of planning series for 2025. We started again just after Thanksgiving with gratitude challenges to begin to practice that gratitude muscle, and then we were working towards setting our goal. Last time we talked about brainstorming those goals, really putting the SMART principle to them, and then trying to narrow that list down. If you missed that, the SMART principle is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timed. If you apply those to your goals, you can really see which ones fit better for you and really have a clear outcome and really tie that into your why, like we talked about a few weeks ago as well. So if you missed those episodes, feel free to pop back on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and check out those past episodes. And just bring yourself up to speed. But the idea being we're building towards 2025 now rather than January 1. We're building momentum now. So when January 1 is here, we have our system in place. Maybe we've even tried a couple things. We've tweaked, adjusted, and we've got some good momentum going for us. So we can kind of kick in that door when everyone else, or most of the people, kind of wait till the first and maybe last minute try to pick a resolution or a goal, and then their success rate isn't as high because they haven't put those steps in. They haven't really put the work in behind it to create that momentum. So tonight we're going to talk about breaking down our goals, or kind of reverse engineering. So you want to think of our big goal that we're going to accomplish by December 31st, 2025. But how will we know if we're on the right path, or where are we going? How do we have some checkpoints along the way? So typically what we want to do is take that big goal that we set for December 31st and break it down into manageable chunks. So we do this to avoid overwhelm. And we've talked about this before. I see this a lot with clients in personal training, in fitness coaching, kind of overwhelm themselves with too many fitness goals. Okay, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to drink more water. I want to eat more vegetables. I want less fast food. I want to sleep 8 hours a night. I'm going to read every day. And there's so many things there that kind of overwhelm themselves. And then nothing gets done because they don't know really where to start. And that feeling of overwhelm can almost be paralyzing to some people, of not knowing kind of what step to do first. And that's what we're kind of looking at here. And as our pal Blake says, our pal Blake Miles will be joining us in the next few weeks, little steps to big success. One step at a time is where you get to that big goal. So what we want you to do is take your 2025 goal. Again, December 31st, 25 is our deadline, our goal accomplishment date. And let's break that into smaller chunks. So since we have a year to work with, my suggestion would be break it into monthly goals. So starting December 31st, or by January 1st, however you want to kind of word that goal. I want to be here. I want to accomplish this. What does each monthly goal look like to kind of reach that goal? If someone's looking to, say, run a marathon, they were break down into kind of a mileage goal. Each month, I want to be able to run so many miles so that by the time I get to my race date, I can run the miles required to finish the race, or probably even a little bit more, just to give themselves that kind of buffer zone to know, well, I can do this much. So if I only have to run here for the race, it gives them a little more confidence. But we break it down into chunks. So look at your goal for 2025, and again, work backwards. What do you need to be accomplishing in November to give you that momentum going into December? And then same thing in October. Where should you be at in October, building yourself into November? Because these months should carry into each other as we're progressing toward that goal. Momentum is going to pick up as we continue to move forward and be as consistent as we can. You'll hear that word quite a bit as we talk about this. But we want to have those goals. So again, start in December and work backwards. And really we talked last week about taking the time to visualize how you feel once you've accomplished that goal. Where are you? Who are you with? Who are you sharing the moment with? How do you feel? What are the sights, sounds, smells that are around you? Really try to create that picture in your mind, because that gives us sort of that destination in our mind, and we'll start making decisions that sort of relate to help us get to that destination, because our mind doesn't really know that it hasn't happened yet. It sees it and it wants to kind of get back there, or wants to get those feelings back, and will start helping steer us towards that destination. So we avoid overwhelm. So again, too many goals or too much at once, or too big of a goal can lead to overwhelm, feel intimidating, and usually leads to procrastination. I'm not sure where to go. Tomorrow. I'll look at it tomorrow. I'll figure it out tomorrow. And then tomorrow turns into December 30th, 2025, thinking, oh, I'm out of tomorrows. I'm here. So again, we want to break it down. That's why we apply the SMART principle as well. Because if we apply that SMART principle, we can see those little details of, is it specific to me? Is it measurable? Is it attainable, realistic, and timed? And then again, that helps us with our layouts, making sure that it meets those criteria. And if we can break things down into smaller steps, it gives us more clarity. Again, it's if you just look at the big goal, again, sometimes it's hard to know where to start, or what to do first, or where to go, or maybe what it will look like in the end. But if we can break it down into those steps, those smaller goals, then again, that gives us a little more of clarity. And it lets us know, again, what steps are needed to get to those goals. So I break my goals down into, again, maybe monthly goals. Then maybe what do I need to do to accomplish that goal? So if I have a goal for February of 2025, that's helping me on my way to December, what should I be doing in January to achieve that goal? So say by February 1st, I want to be at this point. Through January, what do I need to do? And then you can work through the smaller goals even still in through January or the month before, or looking at those little steps. And the more little steps we take, the closer we get towards our goal. We're working towards that destination. So it's all about finding that clarity, just knowing what that first step is. And ideally, hoping the first step is the first step in the right direction towards that goal. And breaking it down and really kind of fine-tuning it into those smaller manageable goals really creates that clarity for us to know that, yeah, this is the step I want to take. I could take this step, but this step is more in line with my, with my goal and where I want to go. So we want to do that. So again, because we're looking at a year-long goal, start December 31st and work backwards. So this is sort of the legwork in advance that we can put in to work towards the goal, so that again, hopefully, or ideally, January 1, because we've done all this work, again, we're already taking steps. Where maybe someone else is trying to figure out how to work backwards, and I just set this big goal for myself for the year, but what do I do next? I'm so overwhelmed. I'm not sure where to go or what to do. Again, you've had a couple months to put into this, so now you've got that clarity already. So January 1, you're already on that path towards that big goal. So again, you're kind of head and shoulders or steps ahead of others, but more importantly for yourself, it gives you that clarity and that good momentum that we can continue to build on throughout that year. So some ways to look into kind of our goal breakdown, we can look at chunking. So take again our larger goals like we talked about and divided them into phases or categories. Just like we said, 12 months to go through, or maybe 13 now because we're in December. So of this year, so I guess 12, sorry, full year. So to work through, how can we chunk those down? How can we break those big goals into smaller chunks? If things are in smaller chunks, they're easier to move, they're easier to work towards. Moving a few small rocks is a little easier than moving one big rock. So if we can break it down, again, we have a little more clarity with that. And then as we continue to work backwards, again, into months, each month will have 4 weeks. What weeks each week? What's our goal? Each day, what can we do to work towards that end of week goal or beginning week goal? Again, however you want to structure it, whatever's going to make the most sense for you. How can we identify those micro steps? The smallest thing to give us that action. Because again, there are going to be some days where we're not going to want to do the work that's needed to work towards our goal. We're going to have off days. Life's going to throw stuff at us. But if we break things down into these really small micro steps, then it's, again, a little less overwhelming and maybe a little easier for us to work through some of those difficult times. I don't have the energy today. I don't really feel like working towards this or doing this goal work. But you know what? I've only got to do X. I've only got to read this chapter. I only have to do some stretching today. I only have to do my arm workout. I only have to prep a couple of meals today. Breaking it down, again, it's not so overwhelming. It's not so tedious. You know what? I can get through this. I give myself a few minutes to kind of get going, see how I feel, and I can kind of work through this. And then that micro step builds a bit of confidence, a bit of, again, that momentum. It keeps us building momentum towards our goal, but maybe that momentum carries on to other tasks through the day where you got up and you did the work needed to build towards that goal. And again, that energy, that self-esteem that's going to come from it, that kind of pat on your back you give yourself for working through that and taking that step, even though it's a micro step, again, that momentum can carry on into your day. And maybe a day that wasn't going to be super productive can turn into a generally productive day, again, by just having things ready and breaking things down into those micro steps. We talked about, again, that we're still working backwards. And then what I like about breaking things down, reverse engineering, is it gives us built-in checkpoints. So you've heard me, if you've been with us, you've heard me talk about that kind of month end, beginning of the month, we'll talk about check-ins. Just a time for you to check in with yourself and see, am I on the right path toward the goal that I've set? Am I making that progress? From last month to this month, have I made the steps I wanted to take to get to that moment? And if not, what do I need to do to get back on track? Or has my path sort of diverted intentionally? I was going this way, but is this maybe the better way for me that I've kind of discovered on the way? That might happen too. Again, it's about reflection and evaluating and seeing where you're going. And this is why we talk about writing things down and tracking as we go. So again, working from December back, what are the goals, monthly, weekly, daily? And then maybe you do kind of a morning goal, afternoon goal, a set of different times. And then again, you have those checkpoints built in. So you have it all written out and then you track as you go. Have I hit this goal? Did I do what I wanted to do today? No, but I did this instead because I wasn't feeling this, or I have an injury, so I can't do these steps, but I did these steps today. I'll circle back around. I had to maybe switch my plan around a little bit. Again, these things will happen and that's okay. But if we keep track of it, we know if we're on point and if we're on track. And in the end, we can have our first of the month check-in where we know, okay, did I accomplish the 4 weeks of goals that I needed to in February to go into March on that right foot? And again, we go back and look at our tracking journal or our log or our computer files, whatever, again, you prefer to use. It can be electronic, paper, and pen if that's more your thing. But the idea is, again, we can go back and look at it and revisit it and reflect. I was supposed to be here this month, but I'm sort of back here. I'm missing a little bit. What happened? Why am I not as far ahead as I thought I would be right now? Did I misjudge? Did I miscalculate? Did I have a few days where I kind of fell off and lost some consistency and I missed a few steps. Again, tracking it gives us that reflection, that record to look at, because sometimes it's immeasurable things. Maybe sometimes our progress might not even be measurable, but again, if we can track it and read through it and see how we've been doing, maybe we can find different wins through there or progress that maybe we didn't think we had hit because we can't see it on a scale or on a measuring tape or something. But when we read, we can see, oh, you know what? I have more energy. I'm sleeping better at night than I was 4 weeks ago. So I am making progress. I am seeing the benefits of what I'm doing. Maybe I just didn't see them in the way I thought I would see them. So again, tracking is super important as well with that. So again, there's workout trackers, there's journals. Again, the notes section on your phone. Some people will just buy a coiled notebook or a binder with paper. Again, whatever works best for you, find that way, set it up. Again, do the work now to have these things in place. So again, you're more likely to use them and benefit from them 3, 6, 9, 10 months down the road, when again, maybe we're going to hit these little roadblocks and sticking points, and they're trying to maybe find out what's going on. Or maybe you get to a point where you say, you know what, Patrick, I need a coach. Can you help me? I'm stuck. I'm trying to lose this weight. I have this SMART goal I set for a target in December, and I was doing great for a few months, and I'm really stuck this last couple of months. What can I do? What's going on? As a wellness and fitness coach, I could look at your tracking log, and maybe as a sort of a third party or an outside eye, maybe I can pick up on something that you didn't see yourself. Or again, maybe you can go in and see something that you didn't realize was going on. Oh, you know what? I'm not drinking as much water as I was a few weeks ago. Maybe that's why I don't have enough energy through my day. Or that's why I feel kind of sluggish. Maybe I need to up my water intake again. It helps you give you these little cues and moments and things to see. If you follow sports at all, you'll hear that they have notes and or film on their opponents. So again, they know their tendencies, they know what's going on, and they can also see what they need to work on. When they did this to us, we didn't respond efficiently. Let's work on this play, or let's work on our offense in this situation because we had some trouble with that today, so we can get better. Again, it kind of works that way for you, where you can bring out your notes and see what's been working, what's not working, and kind of work through it that way. As you're working towards your goals as well and breaking them down, it helps us prioritize and put a bit of a sequence to them. Because again, there should be a bit of a flow to this. We start, say, today, building towards December 31. There should be a sequence in a series, just like your GPS will have the step-by-step directions for you to get you to that destination. When you punch in those coordinates, it gives you the turn-by-turn directions just before you hit into the map option, saying you know where you're going to go. So as we go backwards, again, we can break these things down and put things into more of a manageable kind of task, and we can kind of see the lists and step by step. And is there a flow to it, or should I maybe move this goal further down? Does it make more sense to accomplish this goal first because that'll lead to this goal? Should I switch them? Maybe my order is a little bit off in what I was thinking as I work backwards. So again, we want to work backwards, break things down, but also kind of continually review and reread what we're setting out. We won't get it right the first time. It's going to take a few trials to go through. And again, even once we've started, we might have to continue on to tweak and adjust to kind of get us where we need to be. Awesome, great stuff. So we identify those critical tasks, and then we understand those dependencies. So we have our flow hopefully created that gives us that momentum and that continuous motion towards our goal. But it also shows us, in order to accomplish goal X, I need to first accomplish goal A, B, C, D, E, all the way through to X. So again, we can see what steps need to be in place. If I'm going to run 5K, I first need to be able to run maybe just a few meters if I'm starting really from scratch. And then if I build up, again, that distance to get up to that component, which is, again, probably just a smaller goal potentially in the overall goal, say if maybe running a half excuse me, half marathon or a marathon, but I really scale back and say, where am I coming from? Where am I beginning? And what steps need to be in place? I shouldn't be able to run 10K, but not 5, and then try to run a 20 and then try to run a 6. There's going to be a flow to that. I can't lose 30 pounds and then only lose an initial 10. There's 5 and 10 and 20, and it builds up as I go through. There should be some consistency to that. We have to go through chapter 1 before going to chapter 2. So this helps with that as well. And then again, as you reverse engineer and break things down, then again, once you've done all those little steps, you go in and revisit it, look at it. Does this make sense? Does this flow properly? Do I have my step C before step B? And that'll throw me off because I need to get this step done first before this one. They should be reversed. Because again, sometimes just in thinking it and working through it, ideas come out maybe later, different goals. It won't come out necessarily in order. It'll kind of come out as it comes to you. And then again, we can sit, look at it, revisit it, and then kind of prioritize and identify the order, which again will give us the sequence we want to make sure we're staying on track and getting that momentum as well for us. And it gives you kind of a built-in hierarchy of importance. So you'll know that, this step is really important today because I need to finish it to get to tomorrow. But this step over here, it isn't as important right now because I'm back here and I'm still building towards that way. So maybe I work a little bit on this step if the opportunity arises, or again, maybe this step will interact with this step or have an influence on it. And as you'll see that as we go through, a lot of what we work towards this goal will have an impact on this goal down here, even though there's some distance in between. But I know I need to not focus too much on down the road goals because I need to focus on today. And I give that the priority and the importance that it needs to, again, keep myself rolling and moving forward down that road. Great stuff. So some common challenges that we'll have as we reverse engineer. We talked about procrastination already. So again, it'll help us overcome that by breaking things down. It feels a little more manageable for us. We can avoid hopefully that overwhelm that maybe puts us in that free state where we're not sure where to go or what to do or what the next step might be. So we can, again, if we can eliminate that, let's just think how much progress we're going to make, because I'm sure you've been in situations where you're feeling overwhelmed or you're just not sure where to start, and that procrastination comes in. I can't figure it out. I'll look at it tomorrow. And then 3 or 4 days go by and you're really behind. You're trying to maybe cram everything in. You just think, if I'd started 4 days ago, I'd be so much more farther ahead and so much less stressed about it. And we can have that effect on us as well. And it takes out what some of us deal with in terms of perfectionism, wanting everything done right before we start. And that's just not realistic. We have to start in order to learn what is wrong and right to be able to correct where we need to be. So some progress that's imperfect is better than no progress that's perfect and laid out. So take those steps, figure it out, put it in place, start taking those steps. And again, even going through it, you've taken, say, 3 or 4 steps toward that first goal. Maybe then you realize, you know what, down the road, I got to change that order a little bit, because for me and my schedule or my life of what's going on, I know now after the first week that this won't work every week for me. So how can I adjust and make sure this works so that I can continue going forward? So again, it takes out that perfectionism base of it, because it's one small step at a time. And then we get feedback from that. And then we just continue on. So we kind of have that feedback loop of do a step, learn from it, do a step, learn from it. And we can kind of grow and evolve from there as we go. And the fear of failure, we can kind of eliminate that, because again, we're taking smaller steps, smaller chunks. So that for most people, fear of failure is fear of starting, or the fear of starting comes from a fear of failure. Because again, what if I don't get there? It's such a big goal I'm trying to accomplish. What if I don't get there? I tried before, it didn't work. All those thoughts come in. If we just have, again, a small manageable goal of tomorrow, I'm going to cut myself some veggies to have for my lunch tomorrow, instead of having candy and chips in my snacks. That little step is a way to live healthier. That's the first step. It's a little more manageable than I'm going to be down 40 pounds and eating right and sleeping well and reading every day and journaling by the end of December, because I want to be overall healthier. So that gives us that little step. And then once we have that step, we've started already. And then we get a bit of success. We can get that momentum building behind us, and we can work towards that and build and build and build. That I can use the analogy now, I guess, because it's kind of winter. That snowball down the hill, if you start with a pack of snow or even just making a snowman, you roll it around the yard, and as you move and roll it more and more, it gets bigger and bigger. The momentum creates it. You think of the snowball down the hill, seeing it in a cartoon or something, starts small, but as it rolls, it gains momentum, it gets bigger. And as it gets bigger, it builds more momentum. So the more steps we take, the more distance we cover, we build more momentum behind us. And again, that fear of starting and that fear of failure kind of go away because we get some things accomplished right away. And we give ourselves a pat on the back for cutting up those veggies and having them in our lunch for day one. And then we go to day 2 goal. You know what? I did day 1's goal and it was great. I feel better. Let's get into day 2. Oh, I've done day 1 and 2. Let's get to day 3. And again, it just carries you through that momentum. And once you've started, and that fear of failure typically goes away, especially if we're doing the work now to have everything laid out and designed how we want to and in order with checkpoints and breakdowns in it as well. Great stuff, guys. Hope everyone's enjoying tonight. Again, if you have any ways you break down goals and work through them, I'd love to hear from you in the chats. If you're with us tonight live or even on recording, remember, feel free to say hello, interject. Let us know what you do to break down goals or what systems you use or how it helps you to reverse engineer, what experiences you've had doing them as well. So the next step we're going to talk about is creating some accountability within that. So as we've said, December 31st, 25 is our end goal. We want to work backwards to basically tomorrow, generally, or even January 1, where when we have everything in place over the next few weeks. So that could be our first official step. But generally, we'd like to kind of get things going soon if we could. So we need to set deadlines for those smaller tasks. So if we have, again, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals, we can set deadlines for those, knowing that every maybe Friday is your check-in. Did I meet my goals for the week? Did I get my 5 or 6 daily goals in this week? How am I doing? Yes, good. Everything's on point. I had some trouble here. What can I do next week to maybe avoid those obstacles again? So again, those deadlines and those check-ins really help keep us on track. And that's where the SMART acronym of the big goal was so important, because it gave us that deadline and made sure that things were realistic and measurable to know where we were going on that journey, to check in and know, am I on the right path? Am I progressing and going where I want to be going? Yes, I am. Okay, let's keep going. No, I'm not. Where did I kind of go off path? What can I do to get back on track with that? So set those deadlines in, have those check-in points. Again, maybe it's a weekly thing where you check in with your daily goals, and then a monthly to check in with your 4, and then maybe kind of a quarterly goal to check in with your monthly goals to see where you're at. Have those check-in points. So again, you can catch things that maybe aren't going so well before you get too far along and then have to kind of backtrack or for a lot of us, give up because we've made so much progress that isn't for us. It's busy work, but not towards our goal. We can catch those things when they're around, but also we can celebrate our victories, and we can look at our momentum and our progress and where we've come from, and that'll help us continue on as well. Be sure, we mentioned before, if you've been with us, share your goals as well as your progress with a mentor, with a friend, loved one. Again, create some accountability for you where they can check in and say, hey, you mentioned that goal you're working on. How's it going? Or how's your fitness journey been going this year? How's your running been? How's your French lessons? Or how are they going? Something like that keeps you accountable for it. Or maybe they're working towards something similar where you can work towards it together. Maybe your goals aren't the same, but maybe they're working on a goal too. So at least you can help each other stay on track of your own goals, even though you're not on the same journey together, which for a lot of us won't be, because the first letter in SMART was specific. Our goals are specific to us. But if our friends are working on their own goals, we can help each other stay accountable, go to the gym together, maybe grocery shop together to make good choices, share information, share experiences to, again, help each other out. Same thing with a mentor. Mentor typically would be someone who has done what you are currently doing. So again, they know the ins and outs, they know maybe what works and what doesn't for them, and they can share that experience with you. So hopefully you can maybe avoid some of the pitfalls they had. You can avoid some of the downturns. They can share those experiences with you. So again, you can plan for it, or you can try to plan to work around or through those things, or hopefully avoid them altogether. And when you need it, they can sort of reach out and grab your hand and give you a little pull in the right direction to make sure you're coming with them, because they're just a little bit ahead of you on that journey. And then someone, again, like a coach is an example of a mentor, but it could be someone, again, maybe a friend or a colleague who, again, has gone through what you're working through right now. Or again, it could be someone who has worked through that and has offered to provide their services to you. And as we mentioned earlier, make sure you're tracking. So whatever works for you, if it's apps on your phone, if it's a notebook, a journal, whatever works for you, find ways to track so that, again, you can revisit it, look through it when things are working to celebrate them, acknowledge them, but also when things aren't going so well. What went wrong? What changed? I was doing so good, I'm not now. What's the difference been since I stopped kind of progressing as much as I was? Is there something I can get back to or stop doing that'll kind of put me back on track with that? Great stuff. So thinking again of those, there's lots of those out there, lots of those different apps and things you can look for. And again, accountability is great too. A lot of people now use social media for accountability. I was in a book launch group, I think 4 or 5 years ago now. And there's still someone in that group out of us who every day she goes in there and she posts her workout for the day. Here's what I did. I worked out with my sister, my friend and I did this. I got a run in today. I did some weights today. It was rainy, but I did this. And she's pretty much one of the few only people that post in that group now. But we all see the group and we all see the post, and we all go in and interact and like the post and say, good job, keep it up, and great work today, or you did your best, try again tomorrow. And that's her accountability, is within that group. And again, the person has released, I think, 2 books since then. So that group isn't really active as much, except for her, but that's her accountability space. She posts it in every day, and we're sure to be there to interact and encourage and show her that we're following along with her. So again, social media has become a tool that way, where it can be useful sometimes, where you can post those things, or maybe you create a special page or a group or an account that logs your journey. I've had family ones where we have members of our family together to do different fitness challenges and work towards goals, and we share information with each other, and again, motivate and congratulate and encourage each other. There's different ways and different tools out there that you can use. It depends on really what's comfortable for you and what's effective. And if you're not sure, you might have to kind of do some trial and error to really find what works best for you and then stick with it. Maybe it's a group on a social media page. Maybe it's a journal. Maybe it's an accountability partner. Maybe it's a good friend who's on a goal as well. And hey, let's share our journey, and we check in every Friday. How did you do this week? Oh, I had a rough week. I went through this and that and this. Well, hey, you know what? You did this, this, and this. That's still progress. We'll pick it up again next week. Here's how I did with my week. And again, it just keeps you on track. And if you have to check in with that person, that keeps you more accountable. It keeps you more probable to do the work each day, to take that step, because at the end of the week, you've got to check in with someone and say, how did you do this week? Oh, I did my 4 steps this week. How did you do? Oh, I only did 1. And then again, it gives us that kind of sense of we need to kind of keep up and help that person just as much as they're helping us. But again, find the ways that work best for you, and the support groups or the tracking methods that are best for you with that one. Great stuff. So again, we mentioned taking your goal, working backwards. So December 31st, 2025 is our end date, or January 1, 26, however you want to look at it. Work backwards the monthly goals. So November 25, what do I need to head into December, all the way back to January, even maybe this month or the end of this month. break those monthly goals down into weekly goals. What do I need to do through the 4 weeks to get that goal by the end of the month? Those monthly goals can be your check-ins. Those weekly goals can be, again, your weekly check-ins to make sure we're on track. What do I need to do each day of the week to make sure by the end of the week or the start of the next week, again, however you want to evaluate it, to make sure I'm on the right path? And then what do I need to do now to take that first step towards that goal? How can I break those daily tasks, weekly tasks and the daily task, and maybe daily tasks into a morning and a nighttime or a midday thing? Again, it depends what you're working on and how you want to break it down and what works best for you. But maybe it's a morning thing. Every morning, I'm going to do this to work towards my goal before the family gets up and before I have to get ready for work. I'm going to get up. I'm a morning person. That's when my energy is there. I'm going to get up and work on that. Maybe you're the other way and think, nope, I've got to get home from work. I've got to get food. I've got to get everyone looked after. Once everyone goes to bed and unwinds, then I can come down to the computer, to the office, and work on my goal. Then I can get to the home gym and do some work. Or then I can go out to the gym and work on my fitness and meet up with my accountability partner and play some squash or hit the weights or whatever the case is. Again, break it down into those steps and make it work for you. And the idea being to break it down so microscopic that it's just one simple step, say tomorrow, that takes us towards that goal. And then again, it takes the overwhelm, takes the uncertainty, takes the fog out of the way, and clears everything up for us so we know what to do. And that one little step, that first step, typically for a lot of us, is the hardest one. What step is the first one? And then to take that first step. And if we can work backwards and again, review it, it won't be perfect the first draft, work backwards, get everything out, and then maybe leave it for a day and then come back and revisit it. Are my goals in order? Is a sequence there? Is everything, are my goals in proper that if I accomplish this goal, that leads to the next goal, to the next one, all the way down that path to the end goal? And if not, I'll tweak and adjust as I need to. And then when everything's ready, let's get started. And that first step will be the hardest to take, but once you get going, again, instant momentum towards that next step and the next step towards that end goal. And before you know it, you've got a big burst of momentum going down. You're able to tweak and adjust as you need to. And when January 1 hits here again, we knock down that door. We walk in and say, we're here. We're already a few weeks into our goal. Let's go, guys. We're going to make sure our success rate is high. We're going to use this whole year, because we have the whole year, to really work on ourselves and learn about ourselves and accomplish that big goal that we've set for ourselves to make ourselves better people. So I hope this helps you in that kind of reverse engineering, that breaking down of your goals. Again, loop back, check it out. Again, go back to previous weeks to talk about our goal setting and our SMART goals and our why behind our goals. If you missed those episodes, really, again, factor through those and have those kind of tools in your toolbox, because that will help you set an efficient goal and one that you can really apply this principle to. If your SMART goal kind of isn't there, if it doesn't kind of meet that criteria and you don't really get to the why behind it, this part of it might be difficult, or to stay on progress and track with it might be difficult as well. But again, those of you tuning in, I'd love to hear from you. Again, what do you do to break down your goals, or how do you break down your goals, or know you're on track, or what's your favorite way to track your progress? Let us know, again, in the comments and in the chats. Next week, we're going to look at theme words for 2025. I'm going to put the finishing touches on mine and see what my theme word or words, I haven't quite decided yet, will be for 2025, or maybe a mantra. So as you're setting up these goals, try to think of a theme word that'll help you stay on track, that'll help remind you, that you can put up and you can see focus or impact or breathe, whatever the case may be, and that'll help keep you in line with your goals and making good decisions and staying on track with that as well. In the upcoming weeks, we're going to have our Pal Blake Miles on to talk vision boards and actionable steps from vision boards and how to use them as an effective tool. And he also has a book coming out. He's co-authored with 10 other authors about finding your values. So we'll have some information on that upcoming. Check him out at Blake Miles Coaching. He has a few lives coming up I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I want to say, at 7. But we'll get that info next week for sure. But if you check him out, Blake Miles Coaching, or again, send me a DM if you want to check him out, and I can pass that information on to you. But he'll be back soon with that as well. So theme words, vision boards coming, contingency plans, lots of topics coming to really get us into the right mindset for a really effective 2025, really impactful 2025, with us accomplishing our goals and becoming the best version of ourselves we can be. So that's it for tonight, everyone. Thanks for being here. Please feel free to share this. Be sure to like and get notifications, have those turned on so you know when we go live every week. Have a great Wednesday and the rest of your week. Good luck on your goal breakdown and your reverse engineering. If you have questions, again, by all means, reach out and let me know. We can give you a hand. Until next week, stay safe, take care. Remember, always make yourself the priority you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Have a great night, guys.